Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll be crooning about what made Frank Sinatra so stylish, with an emphasis on what he did his way. With a career that spanned 6 decades in both singing and acting, Frank Sinatra was undoubtedly one of the biggest stars of the 20th century. He was famed for his achievements on stage and in front of the camera, and for his raucous personal life and escapades, especially as a member of the infamous Rat Pack. While his talent as a singer and presence as an actor certainly helped to solidify his reputation, we think that part of Frank Sinatra's staying power today also comes from his remarkable realization of classic men's style. Indeed, he was one of the biggest menswear influencers of his day, and as writer Bill Zemi put it, arguably no man ever lived life more broadly, or confidently, or stylishly than Frank Sinatra. So, in today's video, we'll break down just what made Sinatra so stylish by defining his style, explaining how his clothes and personality reflected it, and also talking about how you can incorporate Sinatra's techniques into your own style. By the way, be sure to stick around for the tail end of the video if you love Sinatra's songs, as we've got some special surprises in store. And why not hop down to the comments and leave your thoughts about what made Sinatra so stylish, so you can compare notes later. Before starting though, we should make it clear that this video is fundamentally about Frank Sinatra's style, not the somewhat more unseemly aspects of his life, proven or alleged. This isn't to say we're deliberately ignoring these things, just that they're not directly relevant to the subject at hand today. Likewise, due to time constraints, we won't be diving in fully to Sinatra's spectacular singing, film, or on-stage career today. So, if you'd like an even more in-depth look, you can check out the companion article to this video on the Gentleman's Gazette website, linked in the description. With all that out of the way then, let's do this thing. To understand the Sinatra style, we first need to define it, and not just the way he looked tonight. From an overview perspective, Sinatra's style was built on a fairly neutral and unobtrusive color foundation, accented by unexpected pops of color, texture, and pattern. Essentially, most of the basic elements of a classic ensemble are represented, alongside one or two pieces of flair and visual interest that are too marvelous for words.
Boo! You suck!
In particular, Sinatra relied on contrast to create memorable visual interest, and some of the ways he did this are through dark and light colors, solids and patterns or texture, or sedate and bold articles. In short, the best of everything. To give conceptual weight to those moments when he did employ bolder style elements like bright colors or loud accessories, Sinatra toned down the remaining elements, focusing on clean, simple lines to frame the look and texture to differentiate between pieces. This ensured that his outfits weren't overwhelming, even when wearing something like a bright orange cardigan, which apparently goes exceptionally well with blondes. After assembling these various elements, Sinatra usually added a playful, tussled element, such as a cocked hat, rolled-up sleeves, or loosened tie. Well, did you ever? But Sinatra never appeared shabby or unkempt when pulling off these flourishes, because he artfully arranged his outfit to look whimsical while keeping every element in place. Yes, he could wear his tie loosened, but only after properly knotting it, tightening it, and then loosening it a bit for a casual but elegant look. Essentially, Sinatra put in the work to make his style appear effortless and easy. a perfect example of sprezzatura, which I explain in greater depth in this video. In general then, Sinatra did adopt and abide by most classic style conventions, deviating only on select occasions. His looks were still cohesive, but he still left a personal mark at the same time. To this point, Sinatra once declared, "My basic rules are to have shirt cuffs extended half an inch from the jacket sleeve. Trousers should break just above the shoe. Pocket handkerchiefs are optional, but I always wear one, usually orange, since orange is my favorite color." Here we see the simple applications of basic style rules with an additional element thrown in for fun. Ain't that a kick in the head? Okay, I know that one's primarily a Dean Martin reference, but hey. And while the chairman did occasionally embrace some trendier elements, particularly in the September of his years, on the whole he cleaved primarily to timeless style conventions, at least when compared to his Rat Pack contemporaries Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. So you can call them irresponsible, but not Frank. Turning now to individual clothing items that Sinatra wore stylishly, we'll start here with his signature pieces. In other words, regular classic style pieces that he wore in just such a way to make them his own. These aren't just regular baubles, bangles, and beads. First up, while dress hats are certainly less commonly seen today, they were ubiquitous during most of Sinatra's career. So he made his headwear, usually a trilby or fedora, his own by cocking it at a rakish angle. After all, just like his buddy Dino said,
"A hat's not a hat till it's tilted."
Wearing something worn by others in a way that they don't wear it is a great way to turn any article into a statement piece. Especially if you're expected to wear something, why not make it your own? In Sinatra's own words, "Cock your hat, angles are attitudes." Next, Sinatra also seamlessly integrated knitwear into his more casual ensembles, rather than relying on the sport shirts or leisure shirts popular in his day. This allowed him to cultivate a casual and sporty look without just looking like everyone else. By the way, this is something you can learn to do night and day in our guide to cardigans. Finally here, Sinatra took the color orange, a notoriously underutilized color in classic menswear, and incorporated it whenever he could into his ensembles while still being mindful of expected formality. He didn't do this to be flashy or contrarian, but simply because he loved the color. When asked why, he said it was because orange is the happiest color. This emphasis on form over flash was typical of Sinatra's style because other than these pops of visual interest, his broader wardrobe was kept sedate and he took a quality over quantity approach. Sinatra wore ties of the finest silk, but in stately, refined patterns that didn't scream out for attention. This approach, by the way, is also how we determine the designs for our ties in our Fort Belvedere shop. Similarly, while Dino was flaunting chunky metallic bracelets and Sammy went for bejeweled, everything, Sinatra limited his jewelry to classic options like collar jewelry, cufflinks, and the occasional pinky ring. To learn how to wear specific men's jewelry pieces in a classic style like Frank did, you can check out our guide, but in general, Nice and Easy does it every time. When it came to the care and keeping of his garments, meanwhile, despite the jaunty way that he wore them, Sinatra here paid attention to every detail. His shirts were crisp, his suits were pressed, and his shoes were always shined. So, the laid-back way that Sinatra sometimes wore his clothes wasn't an attempt to cut corners or be lazy, it was just a reflection of his laissez-faire attitude. And on that note, in the garment care section of our website, you'll find all of our best tips on keeping your clothes in tip-top shape well into the wee small hours of the morning. And Sinatra was never slouchy when it came to formal wear. Not even on a boys' night out. He understood that on more formal occasions, a stricter adherence to rules and conventions was necessary to respect the formality of the evening and, by extension, everyone else at the party. What else would you expect from a man who once declared, "For me, a tuxedo is a way of life. When an invitation says black tie optional, it is always safer to wear black tie." Later in life, Sinatra did fall victim to notched lapel tuxedo jackets and oversized butterfly bow ties. But compared to everything else happening in menswear at the time, this was a pretty minor infraction. And the latter of these could even be seen as something of a mirror to the floppy, unstructured bow ties he wore in his youth. So, for both day wear and formal wear, Sinatra's mantra was clearly, if you're going to do it well, and often with just a bit of that old black magic. To illustrate this point further, let's now compare Sinatra to another 20th century menswear icon, Cary Grant. As we discussed in our video on what classic style really is, Grant's personal style was about always finding the middle ground in menswear. Essentially, he dialed everything to 5, halfway between boring and conservative and bold and flashy. Sinatra, meanwhile, tended to set his menswear dial to a 6. Nothing excessive, but with just a bit more exuberance. As a great example here, let's consider this Sinatra outfit from 1961 as he arrives at London's Heathrow Airport in a 3-piece suit and opera pumps. Obviously, this is a unique twist on air travel attire. But rather than dressing his look down, which would be the typical impetus today, Sinatra augments things by bringing his footwear formality upward. He's twisted that dial just a bit higher than what's conventional, but because he's leaning into the formality, it isn't distracting or objectionable. And the results? C'est magnifique. Or, as Frank pronounced it,
C'est magnifique.
Now, obviously, we can't talk about Sinatra's style without also acknowledging his vivacious personality. It's the man that matters most, after all, not the clothes. In particular, we'll highlight the ways that Sinatra comported himself in alignment with what we believe it means to be a gentleman today. Sinatra was famous for his swagger and confidence, but without pride or obstinacy. Outside of the occasional scuffle or scrap, of course. And he didn't need to insult others to elevate himself. So, harnessing natural confidence by dressing well is one thing that we love about classic style, and it's a great lesson that you can take from Old Blue Eyes. Sinatra was also well known for his generosity and was a renowned big tipper. And while it's often assumed that those who dress well must be wealthy, we know that classic style adherents come from all economic backgrounds. So, whether you have to scrimp and save like a young Raphael did when he was flat broke, or you can afford to splash some cash every now and again, follow Frank's example and remember that when luck has been a lady, nothing's more stylish than sharing the wealth. The son of poor Italian-American immigrants from Hoboken, New Jersey, everything that Sinatra achieved in life, including his wealth, his fame, and his style, came at the cost of leveraging his talent, hard work, and determination. So, when you're starting out on your personal style journey, remember to do what you do with all your heart, but also to stop and have fun every now and again for the good times. Ultimately, Frank Sinatra became a style icon because he learned how to adopt and adapt classic style conventions to suit his own style and personality. Superficially, not much distinguished Frank Sinatra from the countless other men halfway down the street. But it was embracing what made him different and unique that allowed Sinatra to shine. So, keep that in mind as you figure out how you fit into classic style, and don't compromise where you think it's important. After all, they can't take that away from you. Now let's close today with an emphasis on the ways that Frank's take on classic style can influence your own, with a list of 7 quick tips that Sinatra regularly employed. And what better way to summarize them than through classic Sinatra tunes? Number 1, that's life. No matter your circumstances, you can make classic style work for you, even if it means pinching pennies every now and then. No matter what happens, just roll with the punches and keep swinging. Number 2, it was a very good year. From his start as the beau of the Bobby Soxers to his end as the dignified chairman of the board, Sinatra knew that for everything there is a season. So enjoy all that every stage of life has to offer by dressing your age. Number 3, summer me, winter me. On a similar note, to really savor what each season brings, you can embrace Sinatra's Italian roots by employing scorpacciata, which we explain in greater depth in this video. Number 4, it had to be you. While on your lifelong style journey, build a personalized, high-quality wardrobe with lots of accessories that you love to make your outfits go further. And if you feel like doing some shopping, we certainly think that the accessories in our Fort Belvedere shop would be Sinatra approved. Number 5, let me try again. When you commit a fashion faux pas or find yourself with a junked up wardrobe, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. Trust us, we've all made mistakes while learning the style ropes, and you can see some of ours here. Number 6, the best is yet to come. Keep your chin up even when confronting little style mistakes, because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So, enjoy the trip, and know that the Gentleman's Gazette is here to help you every step of the way. And finally here, number 7, my way. Classic style wouldn't be anything without the indelible contributions of figures like Frank Sinatra. But it is a constantly evolving mode of dress, so by the same token, there's also more than enough room in classic style for your unique contributions. Never forget that while you're learning about classic style, you also need to be true to yourself and your way. For what is a man? What has he got? Actually, we don't have enough time for a song today. But you can watch my interpretation of another Sinatra-associated song, The Way You Look Tonight, in this video. We hope that you've enjoyed our explanation of just why Frank Sinatra was so stylish. How did our thoughts compare to yours? And how many references to Frank's classic songs did you catch? Let us know in the comments below while I give you the ring-a-ding-ding rundown of today's Sinatra-inspired outfit. In today's video, as you could probably tell, I'm wearing an outfit most directly inspired by that Heathrow Airport arrival look we mentioned earlier. My 3-piece suit is charcoal gray, and it's relatively conservative, but it does have a bit of character in its weave. I'm wearing a white shirt with French cuffs, into which I've got inserted some vintage gold-toned cufflinks that harmonize somewhat with my Fort Belvedere collar clip, also in yellow gold. My vintage tie from Robert Talbot features a Macclesfield Neats pattern in orange tones, and to harmonize with it, my pocket square is also in orange with a white contrast edge. On my head is a vintage charcoal gray short-brimmed fedora, one of several hats in my collection, and on my feet are my opera pumps. I would normally wear them with black tie or white tie, but for some direct Sinatra flair, I've chosen to wear them with my suit today. Rounding out the outfit are 2 more accessories from Fort Belvedere, my socks in shadow stripes of charcoal gray and orange to harmonize with my suit and accessories, and my orange exotic Caribbean boutonniere. And for a fragrance, I could go for something like Oxford from the Roberto Ugolini collection, as it is classically masculine and because the yellow-orange tones of the bottle harmonize with my outfit. And of course, for all of the Fort Belvedere accessories I'm wearing in today's video, you can take a look at the Fort Belvedere shop here.